also said you could not emit bills of credit, which is paper money. And they also said, we give you no authority to establish a central bank. Now, immediately, there was a great debate between Jefferson and Hamilton, and in the early years, of course, they kept getting rid of the national bank, but we've been suffering with this for the last 100 years. So I'm hoping on the 100th anniversary that we have a bill that we can pass that says on the 100th anniversary of the Federal Reserve, we're going to have a bill that's going to repeal the Federal Reserve Act. Flaw with a monetary system like this, it enables governments to grow in a sinister manner. Jefferson didn't want to even be able to borrow money, but he didn't win that fight. But if they taxed us for everything that they do, and we had to send them a check every month, believe me, this would all end rather quickly because the people would rebel. Matter of fact, just to make that point, I introduced a bill one time to repeal withholding taxes. Why should the businessman be a slave and collect these papers and fill out all these forms? But the real benefit would be the people would know how much they're paying for the government, and there would be a quick rebellion that would get us back on track again. But because the borrowing can become noticeable, if you didn't have the Fed to monetize debt, the borrowing would push interest rates up, and then the Congress would have to quit spending because the more they spent, the higher the interest rates go up. But we don't have that check. And so we have the Federal Reserve that just prints the money when the federal government needs the money. So it does hide things, and the victims are sometimes unknown. They're not known immediately, and they can get away with that until the end point when the currency is destroyed. But in the meantime, you might have decades of this. We went off the gold standard completely in 1971. These last 40 years have been nothing but a big bubble being formed. But during that time, just think of what has grown. The entitlement system and the warfare system. The military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us about, it's alive and well, and they're spending money. And the thing that really, even though I've studied this for a long time, I've been in Congress, and I know how so many of you feel, they're living with their head in the sand. They're in oblivion in Washington. They don't even, if they thought that the problem was 1/10 as serious as I think that it is, they would quit spending. That's what they should do. But the whole system fed on itself. The entitlement system is alive and well. Politicians did quite well by, just promising whatever the people wanted. We could borrow, spend. We're a wealthy nation, and we were the wealthiest nation ever because we were the freest nation. Of course, today we're not the freest nation, and we're not the richest nation anymore. But the entitlement system got way off base because entitlement sounds like a good word. We would like to say we're entitled to our right to our life and to our liberties, but we're not entitled to somebody else's money. Right. Have become what people through the politician demand or want or insist on, and the politicians accommodate, and they become entitlements. And literally, I imagine more than 50% of the people in this country still think that an entitlement is a right, but an entitlement isn't a right. We get our lives and our liberty from our Creator. We get it in a natural way. Amen. Get it from the government, but if we have a right to our life and our liberties, we ought to have a right to keep the fruits of our labor. Which of course means there would be no income tax if you could live with that. A lot of people will challenge me, of course, because I want to start off the first year with